Good morning, everybody. Hope you're doing well today. It is Wednesday, July 21st. Man, this month is sliding by. It's going to be the end of July before we know it. And so I hope your week's off to a great start. Yesterday was, hey, it tried to bounce back all the way, didn't quite make it, but still made good progress towards bouncing back from Monday's decline. So with that, we're getting ready to talk to Dave here in just a moment. But before we do, let me just remind you that there's only one thing that any of us can control within our portfolio. We can't control the markets. We can't control what happens politically, but we can control how much risk we have in our portfolios. To find out exactly how much risk you have in your portfolio, give us a call at 863-382-0037. And let's walk through our financial x-ray to make sure you don't have too much risk in your portfolio. So with that, we've got Dave. Good morning, Dave. How are we doing today?
I'm glad you're here today. I don't say it often enough, but thank you so much for sharing part of your morning with me. I'm Morning Dave. It's 8:40 here, 20 before 9. This time every morning we check and see what the heck's going on with your IRA or 401k on Wall Street. We've had bad news for a couple of days. We got some good news this morning. Let's smile a little for the moment. Downtown Sebring we go to where they find Statler Financial Services and Phillip Statler, who's on the phone this morning. Phillip, good morning. How are you?
Hey, good morning, Dave. Doing well today. It's I'm coming to you from the house. I got a couple errands to run this morning. So, but hey, it's halfway through this week, and I was just thinking this morning, you know what? A week and a half in July is going to be gone.
Oh, Lord. Yeah, since I missed the first 2 weeks of July, it really feels like the month's flying through for me. But I gave the date when I was doing the history report this morning. I was thinking, wait a minute, this can't be right. It can't be the 21st, but doggone it all, it is. Mentioned when we first got on the phone this morning before we went on the air that if you dozed off for a couple of trading days and came back, you'd kind of look at the market, shrug your shoulders and say, well, not much has changed. 549 points up on the Dow yesterday. That gets it within about 0.5% of where it was. Standard & Poor's 500 is within 0.1% of where they were after a 64-point gain yesterday. And NASDAQ coming back nicely, too. It was a big up day yesterday. COVID didn't go away. What do you think it was?
Well, I think that maybe, COVID scared people. Because there's a lot of news, just a plethora of information about COVID rising. And I think it just, on the surface, people were saying, okay, hey, we're at all-time highs. Let's take some money off the table. And then they calmed down and actually, had time to disseminate and go through and decipher the information and decide, well, maybe it's not as bad as we think it is. We're still opening up the economy. Things are still moving forward, even though we have some states, some cities coming back to mask. It's not stopping them from opening up, which I think that's a good thing.
My reaction was similar to that, and I guess kind of the attitude I was reading out of the thing is, okay, after an initial panic, and Wall Street's never been good at underreacting, everything is an overreaction, kind of got to the point of saying, well, we lived through it once, we'll live through it again. Let's go forward. Seems to be kind of the reaction from the investors overall.
Well, and yeah, now we've got 18 months behind us, basically on the whole thing. And even if this new strain becomes an issue, it doesn't seem to be. I mean, yes, the numbers are going up. And I'm sure the hospitalizations are going up, but it seems like the hospitalizations are only for those people that haven't had a vaccine. And so those that are vaccinated, which is a good part of the population still, I know it's not where they want it to be, but so those people may or may not have any symptoms at all.
And yeah, that's one of the things. It is the younger end that's doing it because our seniors are fairly well vaccinated. But looked up Highlands County just for giggles last night. We're only 52% vaccinated in this county, which puts us just slightly below the average for Florida as a whole. We're not one of the higher vaccinated states. And the folks that are ending up in the hospital are the ones that get the more severe cases of the new variety. And it's up, no doubt whatsoever. And our percentage positive on the testings is astronomical compared to what we're used to. But it seems like at least the business markets are saying Politics being what it is, they aren't going to shut down. Some are going to get sick, but business is going to continue. And it's kind of almost a gallows humor type of shrug.
Well, I think that what we've determined now is that we can't afford to shut down again. I mean, it doesn't really matter what happens. Our economy cannot afford to shut down again. So we've got to work through it one way or another to get through this and come out better on the other side, whatever that takes, short of a close up, because we just can't do that again.
Yeah, I think that's probably a very fair assessment as well. Not a lot of economic news out this morning. We're going to get a report on crude oil imports and inventories about 10:30 this morning. I kind of figure since the price of crude is getting closer to a comfort zone for investors, that's probably not going to affect the markets all that much. Gossip from the financial stocks out. Jamie Dimon, who's always been one of the more quotable people in the financial world, runs J.P. Morgan. Word is he got hundreds of millions of dollars in order to re-up and stay at J.P. Morgan. That's got to make their shareholders happy.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, he seems to do a good job. He balances his politicalness and his business savvy, kind of on both sides of that, which is good for them. They've kind of had some issues in the past, and so that's good. I want to mention this because I saw this headline and it caught my attention, Dave, and it may catch yours too. That the U.S. life expectancy dropped by 1.5 years last year. The life expectancy had been 78.8 years, and now it's only 77.3 years. So we're seeing it's the biggest drop since World War II.
That was leading my national news this morning as well. Boy, the COVID deaths, the 600,000 people we lost to the disease definitely brought the average down, didn't it?
Yeah, it really did, and I'm sure that that affected mostly retirees for the most part, and so that's what we're seeing in those numbers. But yeah, it just kind of it put me back a little bit to hear that was the biggest decline since World War II.
Yeah, it's scary actually when you think about it. Earnings season is beginning. We're past the middle of July, and we're starting to hear some stocks coming out. I understand we got some of the household names reporting this morning.
We have a bunch of household names, Dave, and some names that saw some good results for the quarter. Well, let's start out with Johnson & Johnson. That's since we've been talking about COVID this morning. They had a good forecast. They beat on earnings, beat on revenue. They saw strong sales, obviously in the drug market with the vaccine, but also their medical device division did well. They beat by about 21 cents a share. Revenue top forecast as well. They're trading up almost 1% this morning.
I was kind of wondering whether or not there was going to be any impact off of the news item that the Johnson & Johnson vaccine is not as effective against this new variant and may need a booster shot. Doesn't affect their stocks so far yet, huh?
No, I guess not. I guess I've missed that one because the last little tidbit I saw showed that it was doing a decent job against the variant. So they must have had some further studies because I haven't seen that one yet.
That item was on my news this morning, and it kind of set me on my ear.
Then we have Verizon. They did well. They beat by about 7 cents a share. Revenue was better than expected, and they saw better than expected subscriber growth also. And then the trifecta for them, they raised their full year guidance. So that's always a big thing. Up almost 2% this morning.
Cool.
Before we get started. Hey, this is a big household name here. Coca-Cola reported, and they beat by about 12 cents a share, came in at 68 cents. Revenue beat forecast, and they're looking better. They raised their full year guidance, looking at things like stadiums and movie theaters opening back up. Those venues sell a lot of Coke products, so they're looking for some benefits there. They're up 2.5% this morning. And actually, if they continue at the rate they're going, they will end up opening at a new 52-week high.
Cool. Yeah, I would imagine reopening all their A vendors made a big difference on their outlook.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Hey, I got one more. Well, I got a couple more gainers, but let's look at a couple of losers because not everybody is winning. Um, so let's look at Netflix. Netflix reported they missed estimates. They were expected to come in like $3.16 a share. They came in at $2.97. Revenue, though, and membership growth beat forecasts. So it sounds pretty good. Um,
Yeah.
but their forecast for the current quarter of subscriber growth is below what the analysts had expected, and so they're down about 0.9% this morning.
Could be
The
worse.
It
In
could
a
be.
field in which there's so many competitors that are entering that market. I mean, Netflix is almost becoming the IBM of that sector. I mean, they're becoming an industry dinosaur in the streamers.
They really are. They were kind of the first out there, so they are becoming the dinosaur. Um, hey, the other big loser, and this is probably the biggest loser we've seen this morning so far, is Sleep Number. Sleep Number beds. They missed their estimates by 28 cents a share. Came in at 88 cents. Revenue was below forecast as well. They attribute this to supply shortages. So they've got supply chain issues still causing them some problems. Um, and so they continue to fight that issue. And they're
I under-
trading. Go ahead.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
I was going to say they're down 12.5% this morning.
Woo!
Yeah.
That's smart. I was going to say I've heard that this is something I didn't realize until I saw it on a news item last night. Foam is becoming a problem, and that's part of the pillow top beds and everything. So I believe the material shortage.
Really? I hadn't. That's interesting. Okay.
That was news to me. How do you run out of foam?
Hey, it's chemicals, right? You got to produce chemicals, and that's so those chemicals probably come from all over the country, all over the world, probably.
Mhm.
So let's close out with this one. We have Chipotle, and they're probably one of the biggest percentage gains today. They had a really good quarter. They beat by not quite $1 a share. Came in at $7.46 a share in revenue. Revenue was slightly above expectations. Their same store sales, though, beat analyst expectations pretty good this time. They're trading up almost 5%, and they will open up today at a new 52-week high. Get this stock price, Dave, $1,652 a share.
That just is mind-boggling for a restaurant chain on a per-share price. I can't get over it. And a 5% gain is a lot of bucks.
Yeah.
Resetting the table yesterday, it was a decidedly up day on Wall Street. Dow was up by almost 550 points. NASDAQ up by 224. Standard & Poor's up by 64.5. Are we going to be able to keep the momentum going this morning, Phillip? How are we going 45 minutes early?
Well, this morning, right now, Dave, it's a little bit of a mixed bag. We're seeing some green and just a tinge of red. We've got the Dow 30 making a pretty good move upward, up about a little over 1/3%. That's $124 right now. S&P 500 is up about 0.2%. That's $8. We do have the Nasdaq heading down, down $20 right now. So the mixed bag there. We've got silver even right now, gold down about 0.75%. Actually, it is finally dropped below $1,800 an ounce. Right now, it's at $1,798 an ounce. And then crude oil is it's trying to get back to 70, Dave. We got to try to hold it down. Maybe the inventory number will help today, but it's up 1.75%. That's $1.16 right now, up to $68.36 a barrel.
That sounds like about the same neighborhood it was at yesterday morning at this time. I wonder if it's just the daily flow on that futures market.
Actually, that number was 66 and some change yesterday, Dave.
Oh, was it that low? Okay.
Yeah, because we were getting close to 65 again.
I'm getting calloused with those 60s. I can't help it. Mixed bag on the Asian rim this morning at the close. Hong Kong was off by a bit. The mainland Chinese and Japanese markets were up by a bit. Europe is looking at us from yesterday and saying, yippee. We've got some indexes there up by 1.5% and more midway through their trading day. Keeping track of how much you got in retirement counts. Keeping track of what the risk is in your retirement accounts might even be more important. That's where you come in, Phillip. How do I find you for an appointment to find that number?
Then give us a call at 863-382-0037 to schedule a financial x-ray, because that's going to help them determine how much risk they have in their portfolio and make sure that it lines up with the amount of risk that they can tolerate. Check out our website, statlerfinancial.com, and then join us this weekend for the Statler Financial Radio Show, 6 a.m. and noon on Saturday, 10 a.m. Sunday morning on Highlands News Talk 730.
All righty, and back here again tomorrow morning at the same time on Light to see what the Sam Hill goes on today. Phillip, thank you so much. We'll see you tomorrow, all right?
All right, man. You have a great day.
Thank you. It's 105.7 Light FM and Statler Financial Services, Phillip Statler.
Hey, folks, again, I want to thank you for joining us today. I just appreciate it so much. Remember, we're here as a resource for you. Anything financial, retirement related. Hey, if you need help with your 401k, we have a new process in place that we can help you do that. Give us a call at 863-382-0037 to schedule your financial x-ray. Hey, until tomorrow, have a great day. Bye now.